Okay, we're working on the art object contract here, and it has a new function. I guess we don't have to say that if new is the only function. Certificate of authentication or certificate of we're going to define that later. Owner, okay, the sale, resale contract. We'll define that later as well. And then we're going to have the return capabilities here when we create one of these objects. And I guess we can say that we're going to send on the return channel. We do a send, and an exclamation point is send. And then what we're going to send, we put in parentheses. And we want to send the various capabilities that are created here, which is just an art object. Info. By cell. Now, very often what we do here, and what we may want to do, is make this a map. And say object ID.
Hey, Jim, is the info section a stand-in for another contract, or like what does that field represent?
I put that there because an ERC 721 interface has a map associated with it of keys and values. So I put that there. I don't know that we, I put that there as something that now these are actually the channels.
When you say the channels,
well, it's the name that we're going to send. In other words,
is it like an array? Are you creating? Is this like an array that you're creating?
What am I doing? What do I need? I don't need an info capability. I have an art object capability. Oops. Okay, well, I didn't create anything yet. I mean, I didn't really provide a way of putting info here. Yeah.
But is it like, is defining those terms like, each one of those fields, is that a stand-in for like an array of data, or is that in and of itself an array where like each one of those names is a placeholder for a location in the array?
These are capabilities. Well, this info, it's just, I mean, there's an info. Okay, consider these to be the components of an art object. A buy capability, a sell capability, info, which is, I guess, just the metadata about the object. And then a public name, an art object public name, which we can use for buy and we can use for get sell. Okay, so if we implement the ERC 721 methods, we'll have a way to set, we'll have capability. I mean, we can look at it. ERC 721. And where is it? Okay, so we have before I had it as admin. I suppose I should go back to that. We have too many of these methods. We have these events, functions. Not sure what these do. I don't know that we'll need all this stuff. Okay, well now there's the
what is an ERC 165 again? I've never heard of that.
Well, it's used here.
I would look it up. I'm not at a computer right
now. Okay, this is a way of find out if it supports a certain interface or not. Now I'm totally lost. I guess I'm confusing ERC 21 with the ERC 725.
Is that the basic attention token, the 725?
That's a basic identity proxy.
Because you've got 721 right there.
What I do?
You had 721 on the screen. Oh, and there's 725 too.
So there's a get data and there's a set data. And that's what would be in the info, basically. The certificate of authenticity and things like that could be in the info, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they should have separate fields So one field for the certificate of authenticity, one field that references the smart contract, another field that references the ERC 721, and then another field that references the IPSS location.
Yeah. Oh, that's see, 721 is not separate from this. This object we're creating is a 721 token.
Oh, interesting. So you're creating a 721 from within Rolling?
Yeah, it's not on Ethereum. Yeah, this is we're saying 721 is the interface. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to want to support those methods, and I have to understand the methods a little better. But okay, what was the thing? What was I just want to data.
But even if this whole thing is a 721, you're still going to need a separate field for a certificate of authenticity and smart contract.
Yeah, we certainly didn't have that interface like we have here. We have authentication, and then right now we have a resale contract that gets associated with it. Now, I don't know if there's any other contracts we need, but with the set data, we can sort of like add anything we want. Oh, it's not. Where do we get this out? I'm going back to an admin here, and I'm going back to insert. Okay, now I put these in here, and I'm just thinking that what I would want to do with it, not thinking of the interface so much. I don't know.
By the way, is Adi on the call?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi. Yeah, sorry, I haven't met you before. Eric.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you, man.
Let's see. I'm involved with the art project, so that's why I'm here.
Sweet, nice. I'm just here. I usually turn up for the work studies because I'm pretty time limited.
I see.
I'll put it down here. What the hell? Use. Okay, so. And okay, so we can return. Okay, I'm just returning this stuff, these 3 permissions here as a tuple. Oops. Okay, and then I define I define these behaviors of the art object. So we can get into which one. I mean, we can get into the specifics later of the 721 and all that. I mean, if we're going to have a cell, where do we have a price? Okay, okay, we set a price. And then we have, so if there's a sell and a buy, it does a transaction.
Do we have, well, is there need to be a field for wallet location?
Is there a what?
A field for wallet, where's the wallet information stored?
Well, that's why I have the owner here.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, that's just an owner field.
I'm not sure how to do that. I mean, we can say, you know, we could have an owner purse here. But, you know, to some extent, we want to just look at the functionality, demoing the functionality. And then we want to worry about getting the all the signed data correct for the transactions.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even, you know, I mean, I put a buy and a sell here, which is the purpose of the 721, but I don't, you know, the 721 doesn't really have a buy and a sell.
No, well, I don't know. I've heard some stuff that like you can actually embed secondary markets into the coin itself. Last summer, which was the last time I was really looking closely at it and talking to devs, like you could do
pretty crazy stuff with just embedding functionality into the token. I don't know how far it's gone or like what's going on, because like there was like talk about the ERC 888 token, and there was I don't know, there was all this stuff happening, but I don't know where any of it kind of landed.
I looked at it, you know, a year or two ago. 888 is a multi-dimensional token standard.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know if they ever implemented it. That's the thing.
I don't think we have to worry about this. Okay, well, we have enough on our plate with the 721. But if we look at the interface here, okay, there's events that happen. Okay, it doesn't say how these events happen, right? Okay, so then there's an approval, which basically says, you know, someone's allowed to buy it or something. So it's like a that's one way that you make one you make two transactions out of one. I give you something and you give me something. So that's two transactions. It's really one trade. It's really, I don't know, it's one transaction. And yet it's two, two operations.
Right now, but no.
Set transfer from. Save transfer from. Transfer from address to address. So what are, things are, now what are these identities? What are these addresses that we're going to use? Are they 721s or 725s? Probably should be something like that. But to some extent, we, for purposes of looking at this, we don't really care. Okay, then here we have a token ID. Well, we don't really need a token ID. And what's the data? Additional data with no specified format. Well, that's easy enough. Now, unless we look, we have two calls here, which are only different in that this sends data, this doesn't send data. Transfer, plain transfer, huh? Event. Well, I think we had the homework before to look into a little the 721 behavior a little bit more, and we didn't get around to it. So let's get back to your contract here and do what we can. I wanted to welcome Gary.
Thank you.
And so we know that this will change when we look at the 721 protocol. We're making, in essence, the equivalent of a 721 token. Is what we want to do. Okay, which we call an art object, right? We're going to do a set data. We have info here. We got that from we'll just answer you about that data. And we're going to have tab. Ooh. Anyway, so we're going to, we have a key value. So we're going to read okay, so we're going to read that from data. And then if well, do we? Okay, so data is going to be. We can make data when we create one of these objects. We can set data to the empty. Whoops. We can write to the data channel. And we'll write to the channel a map, which will have a search of auth. On. Search of auth, which will be the search of. So whenever we pass it as a certificate of auth, we'll put in the data as a certificate of auth. And we'll put in the owner. Who did we lose? We lost Eric, huh? Owner.
Yeah, looks like we have.
Colab, O-W-N-E-R. And we'll just put contract and quotes. Resale contract. And then we put the in. And put that in parallel. Okay. So we have all that data there. So then we have set data. Now we don't really need to do anything conditional here. We need to read the data. Data's going to be already in there. So we're going to do oops. Data. We're going to write the dot. And let's see, do we want to do a union? I think we want to do a union. That dot union. But All right. I probably could have done a set, but if I do a union, I think I'll get the same thing. I want to make sure that I replace it. So I think this is probably wrong. I think I have to do a dot. Whoa. A new. I think I have to take the key value and do the union of that. Uh, and okay, so I want the the new value to replace the old value. And I believe if I put this bigness in union, the new value will replace the old value here. If I did it the other way, if I took the data, if I took the union of the data with the key value, it wouldn't change the value if the key already existed. It wouldn't put the new value in, as far as I know. Certainly test that. And this should be a brace. And that should be that. And if we do a get data, they're going to give us a key. They're going to give us a key, and we're going to return the value. So we still have to read the data. Oh, here. Okay, we still need to read the data. And we're going to have to write the data back. We're not going to change it. We probably want to do a peek, but I'll ignore stuff, not do a peek right now. So we write the data back, and then we're going to write the value of that dot. Dot get key. And then open. Okay, so So the transfer agreement, we're going to want to split the payment. So that so that 15% goes back to the original artist. Now we have a owner field here. The owner can change, but the artist in principle can't. I'm going to call this the artist channel, which I probably should have called all these channels to avoid confusion. Artist channel. We're going to write the artist. Okay, that'll stay the same. We won't modify that anywhere. I suppose the artists themselves could change that. I don't know. But not something the current owner will change. So, should we debug this a little? Okay, at 8.3, we got a bracket problem. This is 8.3, we got a bracket problem. Okay, we have, how can we have a problem here? We have a contract, it equals, it's empty. Now it seemed like I was getting an error before on an empty contract.
Um, don't you need some vertical bars in there?
Yeah. Oh, is that what I did? Thank you. Whoa,
And,
what was that?
and there's still some more, I think.
No. So there's one more parentheses missing here. I believe one more script curly brace. And that matches the new here. And that doesn't match anything. It's weird. Okay, so this finds that. No, no. Okay. What's going on here? There's percent. That matches that one. That matches that one. And that matches that one. And then I have one more race here. And this is where I was going to put the insert comma dollar STG out. Steam it out. I mean, that's, we're going to print something eventually. Eight, three, same
Same
place.
place.
Eight, three. Just for the heck of it, I'm just going to put a statement in there because it seemed like I was getting an error before for an empty contract. So we'll test that theory. It doesn't make sense. I mean, empty contract is, well, made it to 19.
That's interesting.
19. I see.
Oh, you're missing a parenthesis after the dat.get key.
Oh, quite right. Yeah.
Good man.
$22.
At 22. Where was I before?
19. 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay, so is this another case of an empty contract causing a problem?
Why does empty contracts cause a problem? I never thought that was a problem.
I wouldn't think it's a bug. I mean, there's a bunch of ways to fix that. We can do, just do a nil. $31, huh? Another empty contract, huh? Beginning parentheses of 35. Why would the beginning parentheses cause a problem? At 35, 9, 10. This is 35, 9 here. Oh, forgot to bang. Okay. Well, we're going to get a bunch more of these. Main variables are used in process context. 425. Go to 4. Main variable used in process context. Typically to 4. Oh. Why is that? I'm a little confused now as to why. You don't use rolling a little bit, and then you forget. I don't know object. It's not the same by. Oh. I don't think we have a by anymore. We have admin and art object. And art object. That's all we have. Admin and art object. DF comma. All right. And what's our next one? Artist. Used in a process context. And 5. I think I just fixed it. So you have a million of them.
Right above the line you were just on.
Um, uh, transfer is a name. I don't know. I forgot how to do names and processes. It's been too long since we did rolling.
Yeah, it looks like it's changed since the last time I did any.
I'm sure it's not really changed. Variable admin is used twice as a binder.
Used twice as a binder. So 623 and 713. I don't think I've ever seen that error.
Okay, well, I have admin here. Twice as a binder.
Does Does it matter that B is capital as well?
I don't have admin up here. No problem. Should be an admin associated with each contract. So when I make a new contract, admin. Right? Something else? Variable key. Name variable key used in process context. 12.
1215. Shouldn't that be in quotes? No.
Oops.
Yeah.
No, I don't want the string key. I want the value that's passed to the contract key.
Key. Oh,
So I want that as a process.
wait, you got a tick in there. Yeah.
No, the value. All right. Okay, we're setting the value. So that's a name also. It has to be changed. And we passed the top of the hour.
Variable debt. 1612.
15.
What I was wondering is, yeah,
That could be a problem. How do I do this? I don't know how to do it. I mean, I can do it this way. I can say, start that, and I can put that, the braces around it like that. And that should work. Mm, 35. Twice is a binder. Oh, this means the same thing. It means it's not defined. I mentioned it twice, but I never define it. I never have it defined. So when I just mention the name, it expects something is going to be bound to that name. Unless I declare the name as a new name.
Oh yeah, I see that what that means now.
Oops. Level 3 areas are not allowed.
and art, yeah, the capital D. That's what I was asking about earlier.
Capital. Oh, the B?
Yeah.
Because it would be case sensitive, wouldn't it?
No.
And then there was another one it was talking about, I think art object lowercase.
It's always a lowercase. No, we have an art object, which is camel case. But
Does art object need to be in the top?
what?
You know how you list out all the I don't know what you call them, the names, I guess, really. Does art object itself need to be in there?
It's in line 3.
Well, art object is here. Okay, it's used here. Oh, and then we introduce an art object here.
Oh,
New.
what was the error again?
What do I have? How did it not get a previous? Top level free.
Yeah, that one.
So art object at 35. And transfer agreement at 35. Complaining about both of them. So there's got to be something wrong with my parentheses here. Okay, the first thing I have here, I have art object here, and I have transfer agreement here. And if I go to matching brace here, it ends right there. Ugh. That's odd. So where does this end? It looks like I have an extra brace here, maybe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have caused those names to be out of scope.
But now this ends here. But this ends here, which is fine. Okay. That's what happened. It went out of scope. And none of our bugs have been found.
Woohoo!
So the only thing we'll do is we're going to git add art.rho. Git commit. What happens if I do a commit? Just for the heck of it, I'm going to see what happens. Interesting. So it looks like I can probably remove eval.out and commit everything else. Global.h, I probably want to remove duplicates from first. So I'm going to do an undo. That removes duplicates, more of that many. And then git add dot. No, we're going to get status now. What? What did it do? Here. Oh, I forgot to remove eval.out. Okay, and now I'm just going to do a commit. I was just going to commit the one file, but I figure I might as well keep everything up to date as possible. I can add art.rho. You can say, I don't know. I forget what the other changes were. And then I can do git push. I did a commit, right? And okay, so now it's under now can I get just one file? Really, guess I really can't do that yet. I can't get and put one file with git. But I could. I put that file to Jim's server, right? So if I go to robot here, I can make a new pull request. Base repository, Jim Scarver, robot.net, repository, our chief community. Guess which one I wanted to do. So now I can merge the pull request. And now the draft of our contract now is in here, so I can look at art.rho, and I can get the raw address, and all I have to do is copy that. And you can go here to blockchain art, and I tell you, here is the what? That's not what I wanted. Where was that? Oh no, no, I lost that tab. Never find it. Oh, I should put it there. Why didn't you copy this? There. Okay, and just to prove the concept, I'll go over to here. Then I'll remove art.rho. I'll do a wget of this thing. And then I'll do a, what is that? No, we're not doing it. This is not. Oh, here it is. So now, just demonstrate running it from my Windows machine using robot.net as the GRCP host. And that's just a, oh. Oh, of course that didn't work. I have a $sign in there, don't I? Okay, I used a macro, which is a no-no. So seems pretty slow, but it works. I don't know why it would be slow.
Looks like it works.
Yeah, it works. I should fix that, but I won't. We've gone 22 minutes over. Not sure what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We will see.
Sweet. Just before we go, probably now's a good time to mention it. In other news, I'm starting a new job next week.
Really?
However, what that means though is I'll start earlier, which means I probably won't be able to really come on to work studies from next week onwards.
Huh. Oh, boy. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll miss you, Audie. Is there any other time? I mean, will you just be too busy now?
I'm not really sure. I need to work out the logistics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit too early for me to be able to say. But then if I do get free time or a day off or something, I'll pop back on.
Yeah, good.
All right. Well, let us know. And, hopefully there's going to be some interesting work. We're looking at a new framework here, which I'll give you some homework to do on your own time. Okay, and it's grid sum. Grid or grid so me, I don't know.
Oh, right.
Awesome framework. And it's compatible, it's certainly compatible with the Big Life stuff, and it uses GraphQL for the local storage. It's really sweet.
Interesting.
So, this is going to be our, this will be part of our, this defines a good piece of our self-sovereign stack for applications.
Okay.
So, hopefully next time I see you, you can show us your grid sim apps. Take it easy.
Sweet. Oh, I'll see you guys later this week anyway.
Yeah. We'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.